Hi, I want to welcome you to this year's local elections candidate forum here at Heights Baptist Church. I want to thank you for taking the time to make sure you are as educated as you can be for this year's upcoming local elections. Do make sure that you get out and make sure that your voice is heard. So thank you so much for joining us on behalf of the Board of Directors for the Northern Brazoria County Chamber of Commerce, where we serve businesses in Alvin, Manville, and Iowa Colony. What we do as an organization is we try to think what is the best way to keep local dollars here to make these communities as prosperous for everyone who lives here as possible. So you being engaged in local elections is a direct result of that kind of work that our chamber and our members have done for decades. My name is Kerry Perrin. I'm the president and CEO of the Northern Brazoria County Chamber. And again, we want to thank you for tuning in to this video. I want to thank Heights Baptist Church for providing this space, for providing this camera equipment and this audio equipment so that you can, again, be the most educated voter you can be. I want to also thank the candidates that are able to make the time to do this with us today. And there's going to be a few that aren't on stage with us, but have taken the time out of their schedule to come sit down with us individually so that we can hear what they have to say as well. All of our candidates has made it clear to me to pass on to you that if you have any questions that we didn't ask here tonight or want better clarity of questions answered for you, all of our candidates can be found on social media platforms, would love to talk to you directly. So please do yourself a favor and make sure you talk to them directly before you go to the polls. I also want to thank my staff, volunteers, Heights Baptist Church's staff. Remember, if you're looking for a local church in town, go to heightschurch.org and see other ways that they support our local community and our community members. I also want to thank my Governmental Relations Committee. All these folks, tons of folks in this area, have worked together and done lots of things just to make this information available to you. So thank you again for taking the time to watch. Speaking of our Governmental Relations Committee, it is chaired by Carolyn Waits. She is the director of the Alvin Public Library. She is going to be our moderator tonight. And so I want to thank her as well for taking the time to ask all these great questions to all these great candidates. Thank you again, and remember to eat, shop, play, and support local businesses in your area.
Good afternoon. I first want to thank the Chamber for doing this. The new North Brazoria County Chamber of Commerce. It's got a new long name, but it encompasses even more of an area than it did before, and it's a wonderful thing. So I want to thank them for hosting us this afternoon, giving you an opportunity to learn about us, what we believe, what we think that is important to this city. So we want to make sure that you are, as Carrie said, wanting to ask any other questions that we have about what we believe is important for this city. And please feel free afterwards to stop any of us. I'm sure they all agree that to ask anything you'd like to ask. I served on the city council before. I served 2 terms. I have some interesting things that happened to me that I'm very proud of. One of them is the fact that the city did not have a fire station out on 1462, and I was told by somebody in an upper position at the fire department that if we did not get one out there and provide service to everybody within 5 miles of that area, that the state could come in and fine us $1,000 a day until that fire station was built. When I heard that, I was shocked, because it's a process to get anything built, as you well know, and then to be able to construct that thing and not be fined like that by the state is a real challenge. However, I went to council about it. We immediately got busy. We got that station almost completed when the state sort of caught us. But they said we were so far along, and it was really clear that we were going to have a fire station in that area, that they did not fine us. And so I'm really proud of that we're able to provide that service to our citizens, the people in this town that pay taxes and have a right and a need to have fire safety.
Hey y'all, my name's Scott Salter. I'm running for Alvin City Council position 2, or at-large position 2. I'm running for City Council because I believe that the A in Alvin does not stand for average. And during these unique times of growth and infrastructure needs, we need motivated individuals that are ready to show up and engage with the public and help drive our community forward so we don't get stuck as the average location of Brazoria County. I want to be very clear. I do not want to be Manville or Pearland or Friendswood. I want to be the best version of Alvin. Maintain our hometown charm, the hometown charm I grew up in. Born and raised here in Alvin, our family owns Alvin Skating Party, a little roller skating rink here in town, and we're celebrating our 20th year. My mother, Clarence, is a State Farm agent in town, celebrating 40 years in business, so I am a small business advocate. Meeting my wife in high school, we attended Alvin Community College together, later planning our own roots, had 3 children, and we raised them now together here in Alvin. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Over the past few months, I've door-knocked over 1,500 homes with nearly 1,000 more on the schedule between now and Election Day because residents have the problems that City Council can solve. And that's why I think engaging with them is important, not just entitled opinions or department heads. It's residents that need the solutions that City Council can solve. I think it's very important that you count on your elected officials to show up. I've been showing up as a firefighter for over 5.5 years and as the public information officer for Alvin for multiple of those. I've also worked with Ed Thompson for a number of years, now earning his endorsement for this position as I worked in the communications department for him while he was your state representative. This is the right time for me to be in this position, and I hope I can earn your vote May 3rd.
Thank you, Carolyn. I am Ashley Davis. I'm running for City Council District D. First, I want to say thank you to the Northern Brazoria County Chamber of Commerce and Heights Baptist for hosting and all the people that volunteered. And thank y'all for being informed citizens, everyone who's sitting here today and people who are watching online. Just a little bit about me. I'm married. We got married 8 years ago. We have 2 dogs, one which I adopted from the Alvin Animal Shelter. Alvin Animal Adoption Center, I apologize. I grew up in Houston and I graduated from U of H with a bachelor's in psychology. We were looking for land. We were looking to be spread out, to be in a place that was safe and that we could call home. And we landed in Alvin about 10 years ago. I first became involved with city politics was when I went to city council about, during Hurricane Harvey after that. And I made a comment. And Mr. Glenn Starkey, the current city councilman, came up to me and suggested that I join a committee. So I have been on Planning Commission since 2018, Charter Review 2023, the Comprehensive Plan Committee still currently started in 2024, which is a plan for the entire city. I am a chamber ambassador, a board member. I was Citizen of the Year in 2024. I was Ambassador of the Year in 2023. I have done the Alvin Citizens Upfront Academy, as well as the Citizens Police Academy, where you learn about all the different departments, and that's about 8 weeks for each. And I'm a part of the Alvin Rotary Club, and I also co-founded Wolfstock event in 2023, which benefits that Alvin Animal Adoption Center. But I have also been door-knocking like Scott, and this is what I'm hearing from the people. There's going to be growth. They have traffic concerns. There's roads. We need to continue to maintain them. Drainage to continue to prevent flooding. Safety and lighting in our streets so our kids can play in the streets safely, and transparency with the city. Thank you.
I am the youngest out of 4. I've got 2 brothers and an older sister. Family are entrepreneurs, business owners. My mom had a hair salon in Alvin called Hair Masters on House Street. My dad was a local painter here. And throughout the years, it involved him through construction and development construction. I started up a company called C&W Construction Equipment Rentals, and over the past years, I've merged over with my brother's company, NAC Construction Group Incorporated, where you do all things from dirt division, concrete, turnkey, all the way up. Got involved with politics in the city and in the county is when Ryan Cate, our Brazoria County Commissioner, appointed me for the TERS Board Committee. I was on that board and served to set up bonds and levy taxes for new development. From there, I've learned a lot of things. I know that being a citizen of Alvin, we're all seeing that the city's growing. We're having and facing a bunch of issues with traffic control. Before the toll road 99 comes in, I know that we're going to have to we're going to have to do something about the roads, the drainage. I also see that there's a homelessness problem in Alvin that no one wants to talk about. It seems to be in Alvin and at the library, and kids can't even go to it. It's something I want us to face, something we need to talk about. We need sales tax revenue. At the end of the day, all of us have ideas, but we need to figure out a way to make money, and I think I have those solutions and relationships to make that happen, and that's why I'm running for city council.
With Alvin experiencing rapid growth, what specific strategies would you pursue to ensure sustainable development without losing our community's unique identity?
Well, we've already mentioned roads. 128 miles of them are managed by 4 people, and we'll get into that a little bit later within our infrastructure struggles. But the heart of our community is our downtown corridor, or our few blocks of downtown. I'm a big believer in downtown revitalization. That grant built a beautiful patio at the Gordon Street Tavern a few years ago, and now all of that money or funding is not always being used, and the lines have been expanded a little, but I would really like to see the downtown revitalization grant become the downtown mile and extend from Stouffer's and Tomaso's all the way to Busy Bee, so we can inject money and encourage development in our downtown corridor to revitalize the heart of our community, especially where the roads are the worst. I'm a big believer that without a downtown or a historical district, your community does not have a heart. So I'm a big believer in supporting that because I think that is our downtown charm.
Ashley, would you like me to repeat the question? Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we need smart, balanced growth in Alvin. We all know the growth is coming, and we need to manage it. So I'm currently on the Comprehensive Plan Committee, which is with the city, and it's every 10 years. Right now, we're looking at 4 scenarios that are extremes, let's say. So first, we can do the existing development baseline, and we're looking at the existing developments that are already here and work on just those developments. 2, we can do a full city limits build out. So we can just, everything that's open, let's just build it out. Again, these are extremes. I did not move to Alvin to be like Katie. So potentially this is not something that I would want, but I'm open to listening. City core growth, again, like downtown revitalization, but only focusing on downtown, and a community of villages. So those are the 4 things that the Comprehensive Plan Committee is currently looking at for growth.
Seth, would you like me to repeat the question?
I'm fine, thank
Okay.
you. I currently work every other week and try to do phone calls directly with Paul Chavis, our EDC director. We have luncheons and we talk about growth. As far as growth coming in as outsiders, and also the people that we have, like Scott stated, on Gordon Street, we have a bunch of businesses here that are our backbone of our city. We've got Tomaso's and Dairyland and Gordon Street Tavern, and these places are just dwindling with either their roads or their parking lots or the outside. And I think public improvements from the city or grants should definitely happen. I think with bringing in sales tax revenue, I think that we should take care of the ones who's taken care of us through all these years. As you see going down Gordon Street Tavern, I've talked to every one of these business owners. From Gordon Street Tavern, Tomaso's, Dairyland, you'll see my signs. I want to support them. They know I will support them, and it's important that we do.
Kathleen, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, you don't. Thank you. Oops, sorry. I think probably I've heard more complaints about 2 things in this city, and you probably are among the many that agree with this statement, and that is potholes and anything but fast food restaurants. I've heard it forever. I've heard it a long time. And we have got to find a solution to this, and I think we're on the road to that, and I will tell you why. Last Thursday night, I sat at the city council meeting, and I was blown away by Paul Chavez, our Economic Development Director. This guy is amazing. He's only been here a year, but he's already learned this community. He's learned what issues we have and what things need to be addressed. He's heard those complaints about not having a nice place to take your family for dinner or go for a steak or date night. He's heard that. he's heard about potholes, he's heard about those different things, and he's on the road to solving them.
All right, thank you. Our next question is, given Alvin's aging infrastructure, what priorities would you set for improvement, and how would you fund these initiatives responsibly? Ashley, we're going to start with you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so I've talked to Brandon Moody, who is the director of city services. He has a baseline of how he organizes all of the streets and which streets need to be fixed, how often it's traveled, how heavily the traffic is, and how much traffic actually goes down those streets. Is it important to improve that first? And then they number it 1 to 5, 1 being most important, 5 being least important. And he's really been doing a great job because he is focused on also fixing the infrastructure underneath those streets. So as you can see down Mustang Road, that was not just the street, but that was the water and sewer that goes to the waterworks treatment facility as well. So we really need to focus on that. We also need to, work with TxDOT and make sure that those roads are getting fixed as well, because as you know, a lot of our roads by TxDOT, like 1462, we just got a light approval on Mustang Crossing and 1462 that I pushed for on Planning Commission. Thank you.
Seth?
I think everything that Ashley said, I have to agree on. With state and local, we have a problem. Brandon Moody is doing a fine job, but his hands are tied because of budget. Your roads, you see it, you cut it in sections, and underneath, you got to figure out the base. So you can't just put concrete on top, and you can't put pavement on top. You've got to do it from the bottom to make these roads secure. As far as TxDOT goes as well, I'm working hand in hand with the chairman. He was appointed by Governor Abbott. His name's Steve Alvis. Him and I have great relationships. Matter of fact, today, he actually donated to my campaign, but matter of fact, today Mayor Gabe called me and said he spoke with the president of ACC and that TxDOT denied them their exit for Childress Road and for Mustang. And that's going to be a big problem because the people coming in from the South Alvin are going to need that exit. So they personally called me to make a phone call to Steve to see if we can make something happen. I wish we had more time. I'll go into that in a little bit on the closing statement, but yes, we do need some improvements, and I have the relationships to get it done.
Kathleen?
There are 3 things that need fixing when it comes to this type of infrastructure: potholes, problem roads. How many times have you driven off the road like this, even though you're driving right in your lane? And drainage. And those 3 things, the city hires a consultant to do these things. I think that's ridiculous. We have city council members that could take the responsibility of going into their own districts, making a list of what those roads are that have got those 3 issues, bringing them back to a committee meeting, and sitting with the rest of the council, including at large, and prioritizing these roads, these potholes, and these drainage problems, and getting them fixed. And it can be done, and not have to pay a consultant.
Residents of Alvin should entrust an elected official to deem whether or not a road is sound or not. Only a trained professional should do that. Our road issues exist because we have a infrastructure problem there, but we have a staffing infrastructure problem. Our road problems have grown, but our road department has not. 4 people are responsible for 128 miles of roads, curbing, and sidewalk in Alvin. We do not have the ability to lay our own roads. The county no longer does it for us. Under our current city council and Gabe Adami, our Mayor Adami, we have fiscal responsibility. We have a budget surplus. We have 6 months operating cash, and I commend them on being fiscally responsible with the tax dollars. However, we need to allocate more of that funding to the private sector to get contractors in to repair these roads at an accelerated rate. There's also, in terms of funding, there's also a variety of state and federal low-interest debt options that we can use specifically designed for infrastructure without raising the already high taxes that we have on our residents.
Okay, our next question is, how would you actively attract and support new businesses and job creators to Alvin, particularly those offering higher paying jobs? We will start with you, Seth.
That's a great question. So Steve Alvis, who is the chairman of TxDOT, is also the #1 largest shopping center developers in the state of Texas. His company is called New Quest Properties. You see it everywhere. You see New Quest from Targets, TJ Maxx, Ulta's, the Whiskey Cake, Dick's Sporting Good. He provides all the real estate, and he has longtime lease vendors coming in to create jobs, businesses. Again, I have a strong relationship with him. I've been working hand in hand, actually finding areas in Alvin right now as we speak with our EDC director, Paul Chavez, in lunch meetings, talking to the vice president of New Quest to already find spots for a new Ulta, find for a new place for TJ Maxx restaurants. On top of that, about a month ago, I talked to Paul Chavez. I said, hey, I got a guy who we don't just need economic growth. We also need industrial growth, small industrial growth, because that's going to create careers, not jobs. And it's important for Alvin to have that. And there's a guy by the name of Joe Pawlowski. I sat down with Paul, who Paul wants to meet, who's wanting to bring industrial growth right here off 35 and off 517. The guy is local, he's ambitious, and he has the contacts already. I wish I could go on longer.
Kathleen,
I just wanted to add one last thing briefly to that last statement. I did not suggest that the city council members be able to determine damage on a road, but certainly anybody in this town can see a pothole. And all I'm asking, and my suggestion is that they report that list and that we address it and have someone come in and repair them, rather than a consultant go down the road and go, gee, there's a pothole, gee, there's a pothole. Very obvious. The reason that I brought up Paul, our economic development director, is because this guy has got such vision for this town that he's able to go find the people that he knows from talking to us, from talking to council members. He knows what this city is asking for and looking for. And with that knowledge, he's able to provide us with a whole lot of resources that we can use at this point. And I think that's the way we need to go, is take advantage of somebody that's got the intelligence and knowledge to do this.
Scott? Can you read it again? I sure can. How would you actively attract and support new businesses and job creators to Alvin, particularly those offering higher paying jobs?
As a small business owner, I have participated in many planning and development meetings that the city puts on to help assist small business owners and entrepreneurs plan that path for development. Small business owners don't call them planning and development meetings. They call them going to the war room, because it's where your small business and entrepreneurial ambitions will go to die, as city officials will tell you repeatedly the drainage, the infrastructure, the reasons you won't be successful. Alvin, whether you agree or not, has a stereotype that hovers over it of not being business friendly. And that is something that council must align with city officials, with department heads, to share that we want to strategically align with small businesses so that they can prosper. Because when they create more revenue without the city having unnecessary red tape, they generate property tax, sales tax, and jobs for our residents.
Ashley?
Thank you. So one thing that wasn't mentioned is that we need to streamline the permit process. I don't know if you know right now, if you need to go get a permit and pull a permit in the city of Alvin, you have to go in the office and it is probably handwritten. We need a computer technology process to get that done quickly and efficiently. Second, these are concerns I've heard from business owners. Getting signage, making that easier to get. Right now they have they have 4 colors they can pick from, and that's about it. But also having the city make sure and ensure that those business owners are taking care of that signage to make sure our city is continued to be beautiful. Thank you to Alvin. Keep Alvin beautiful, by the way. And I'm involved with the chamber. I've gone out to businesses myself and tried to get them to join the chamber and get them more involved with the city so that they can get the resources that they need. Again, Paul Chavez is doing a wonderful job. He sends out emails to local real estate agents to see if there is anything, coming up that we know of for that development. Thank you.
Okay, our next question is, we're going to start with Kathleen. What specific actions would you take to maintain low local taxes while ensuring a balanced budget and continued essential city services.
I hope Paul Chavez doesn't decide he needs a raise after we praise him so much tonight, but he's that good. He is going to different workshops throughout the country looking for what we're looking for, which is big business, which is big contractors that have different products that we need here in this town, specifically restaurants. Murdoch's didn't come here and just hop up and set up shop. They came in here and they researched and they discovered that there was a market here and a value, and they bought a building, spent who knows how much money remodeling that building to be able to put in that beautiful business. And that was not just haphazard, that was done. And that's the type of thing that we're gonna have with everything that comes in here that's big business, including restaurants. But I think also on top of that, we've got to start looking at some industrial type things that'll bring in good jobs. They'll actually make a curve in the income brackets in this city.
Scott? Can you repeat it one more time? Of course. What specific actions would you take to maintain low local taxes while ensuring a balanced budget and continued essential city services?
Well, the tax rate is too high, but the city is currently operating in a way that is, again, fiscally responsible. We have a budget surplus. So going back to staffing, we have to continue to grow our staffing infrastructure to be able to assist them. As a firefighter in town, I'm around a lot of these department heads, and these department heads are spread thin. They're doing many jobs, or 10% of many things instead of 100% of anything. They're very hardworking individuals. The problem is that our staff and city internal infrastructure has not grown with these problems. So I feel like that has to be addressed first before, if we want to stop hiring consultants, we have to have staff that's capable of doing this. I know Brandon, I know Dan Kalinsky with Parks. When you really look at the scope of work that they have to do, it is many, many things. And that's why I feel like it's a failing plan, because we have to grow their team.
Ashley?
Thank you. I agree with Scott. So I'm not sure if y'all are aware, but our finance department has had some turnover within the last year or so. And that is partially because they are spread too thin. They can go out and find another higher paying job. So, getting those people and resources to make sure that we are being fiscally responsible. We need to prioritize our needs over our wants. We need to continue doing budget reviews and have leadership that is willing to dig in and go line by line in the budget and read and review everything. I have already talked to Unruh, who is the city manager, and received those binders, and I'm starting to look through them just so that I can make sure that I am reviewing everything and seeing what is being spent and where those monies are going. I'm sure we're already doing this, but we need to make sure we're seeking grants, state and federal grants, and planning for the future, continuing to build reserves. Thank you.
Seth?
I'm tired of just hearing ideas, and figuring out tax situations and the roads. It's simple, folks. You don't need to keep kicking the bucket around. All right? We've got all these houses coming in, and we have no economic growth to sustain them. I mean, I guarantee every one of y'all, when y'all come out for Christmas or birthdays, you're shopping at Baybrook Mall, you're shopping in Webster, you're shopping in Pearland, you're shopping everywhere besides Alvin. Thank the Lord we got Murdoch's. Now I can shop one stop right there, but we need more. I know the women want Ultas. I know we need restaurants. And when that happens and you sell, you have money. Money, folks. I'm working with one of the greatest, I think, EDC directors. Thank God Paul did fall on us, but I'm giving him every connection relationship I have with TxDOT, with NewQuest, with everybody within the industrial cells. I go on hunting trips with these guys. I mean, they're the #1 shopping center developers. They're wanting to come here to bring business so you don't have to go shop, and we can make that money. And when we have that money, then we can take care of our problems. It's a very simple deal. You got money, you can do things. I wish we could keep going.
Okay, next question. We're going to start with Scott. How would you improve transparency and communication from City Council to citizens about current projects, financial decisions, and long-term plans?
This is probably one of my strongest skills that I bring. As the past communications director for State Rep Ed Thompson, transparency and accountability within our public space is a big, big priority of mine. I believe that that is a huge point of tension within residents. Door knocking all the time. They're wondering. They either don't know who's their elected official, they don't feel like they're heard, or they don't feel like anybody will listen. And that's why transparency and communication is important. And I think that's why Ed Thompson endorsed me for this role, because he knows that I share his beliefs on it. Specifically, as we saw the $250,000 economic comp plan, when it went out for public comment, it only got 300 participants out of nearly 15,000 that could actively show. Well, that's a communication problem. And if I could spend $40 on Facebook at the skating rink and get 1,000 people to click, well, then we have a skills gap here that we need to solve. Now, as the information officer for the fire department, I've navigated communicating with the public through COVID, hurricanes, freezes, and even the most recent tornado. So I know I have the skills to help with that.
Ashley?
Thank you. This is also one of my favorite topics. So this was why I got involved into city politics, was because I just didn't feel like there was enough transparency. One thing that I will say, and I think he's actually hiding in the back, the mayor of Manville, Dan Davis, does some amazing, amazing videos, and he puts them out on social media, and people are engaged on those videos. That is what we need to do. We need to step up our game. We need to go to the people. A lot of times the thing I hear is, well, it's on our website, but people are only going to the website to pay their water bill, and that's it. That's the only thing. So we need to go to the people. Where are they? They're on their phone. So we do need to get on Facebook. We need to get on, I'm sorry to say, Talk of Alvin. We may have to get on there every once in a while and just hear the people out. So that's it. Thank you.
Seth?
Yes, I think community outreach is a big deal, and anyone who lives within any districts, I think you should talk to each individual of that city councilman or city councilwoman or the council person at large. Social media, outreach programs, meetings, having community gatherings where you do it once a month just for your per district, where then they can take that to city council. Every platform works now with times. But we can't just also think about just the young. We also got to think about the old as well, and the ones that don't have those programs. How can we go and visit to them door to door? Or the ones in nursing homes, or just, with the community, there's a lot of problems too that we don't have a lot of shuttles for the elderly and stuff. And for those people to get around, I think that would be a good thing to put in play. But community and outreach is something key that I think we definitely need to look into and grow on.
Kathleen?
We have a reality to deal with here, and that is that people want to get their kids to school, they want to get gas in their cars, and they want to get to the grocery store. To them, they elect people that they assume are going to work for the betterment of those taxpayers. The only way that they're going to find this out is to either go to a city council meeting, and most of them don't get it. I've talked to them. They don't get it. They don't understand the process, and they don't understand why a problem doesn't come up and get solved immediately. We have to go to the public. There's nothing wrong with meeting one council member instead of everybody being intimidated by the whole city council showing up, having a meeting in their district, being able to sit there and say, guys, here's the deal. We are limited on the amount of money we have. We want to hear from you what you think is important. And that's how you get the message out, and that's how you get the input.
Ashley, we're going to start the next round of questions with you. In what ways would you involve and leverage Alvin's growing business community to assist in city initiatives, projects, or committees?
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I just think we should involve, I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Certainly. In what ways would you involve and leverage Alvin's growing business community to assist in city initiatives, projects, or committees?
Okay, yes, I just want to make sure. So I would suggest for business owners to be involved in boards and committees, which I know several are. Scott's on a committee, Corey Scopell's on a committee, as well as other business owners. And then I know that, again, we're going to bring up Paul Chavez just because he's been doing a great job. Please don't ask for a raise. I agree on that. He's actually been reaching out to business owners as well and sitting down and having coffee or having lunch with them and asking what those concerns are for those business owners. So that way he knows how to help and he can find those resources for the businesses that are currently here. We need to focus not only on our growth, but we need to focus on the businesses that are here in town and get them engaged. So all those people will help with job creation, events, and they shape the future of Alvin. They are helping us to tell us what they want to see in Alvin. Thank you.
Seth?
I think the businesses and city collaboration is pretty honed down on groups and if it's individuals with lines or chamber that wants businesses and growth and outreach and information. But when it really comes down to businesses, I think it's just going and talking to them because they're too busy sometimes to join and have coffee with us in town and figure out how to be a part of the community or the city. Some of them are struggling and hurting. You know, there's a lot of these businesses that aren't in these programs. La Costa, Dairyland, Tavern, the list goes on. But how do we communicate? How do we reach to figure out where we can figure out a good way to take care of everybody in the city without having to pay to be in the club or without having to be a part of a group? I think everybody's important. It should be that way. I think like we talked about earlier, you should have an outreach program where all business owners get together if you pay or don't and be at the Axe Bar once and everyone goes to the Axe Bar. And then, hey, let's help out La Costa. Let's all go to La Costa and all the business owners go there. And let's take care of our actual businesses by going to their businesses.
Kathleen?
I agree with you, Seth. However, I think we could go a step further, and that is take advantage of an opportunity we have right here in town, and that is the Chamber of Commerce. If you look back at how it has grown and changed and developed over the years, and only recently changed its name because of the growth that they brought in all of these extra cities and brought in extra members, you'll see that's a real gold mine for us to be able to communicate with businesses and hear what that chamber, every year the chamber comes in and reports to the council how that last year has affected them and the growth of the organization. We need to take advantage of them more. We provide a little bit of money, we used to, I assume we still do, to them, and I think they use it wisely, but I think that being able to get them to work even more with the committee, with the business people, and be able to report to council is a real asset.
Scott? Absolutely. In what ways would you involve and leverage Alvin's growing business community to assist in city initiatives, projects, or committees?
Well, as past chairman of the board of the Chamber of Commerce, I'm glad we've had success since my term. I believe that we need a few other types of engagement within our community. I'd love to see a youth advisory committee. I'd love to see more involvement from our seniors and just hearing them out and what the concerns are. Specifically, though, when engaging committees, we have many charters and different groups, library, parks. Attendance is really weak on a lot of these boards. So we have to evaluate how in the world we're even getting people to engage in the settings of those meetings, because across the board we don't have a lot of local participation. It's just a few louder opinions. Chief Rex Cleasel, retired now, appointed me to the Public Information Officer and over recruitment for the department 5 years ago. We had record low participation in volunteer firefighters. In the last 5 years, we are now approaching a waiting list in our department with nearly 70 volunteer firefighters. So if we can convince people to come fight fire for free, I'm sure we can convince the public to give us their opinions more often.
All right, Ashley, Seth, we're going to start the next question with you. What is your vision for Alvin's future growth, and how would you prepare the city to effectively handle the challenges and opportunities associated with that growth?
That's a great question. Planning Alvin, guys, it's inevitable. Toll Road 99's coming in. It's coming in. So how we figure out what that growth is going to be big factors with what's coming in new, and then also how do we take care of the old, right? We don't want to segregate so much where people are forgetting about what we already have in the backbone of these workers. Like I've stated multiple times, that Paul Chavis and I have been coordinating with one another, and I have been linking him with my relationships with New Quest Properties. He's eager to meet with them. The city's allowed him to go out to these festivals that these big corporations put on to grow his network. He comes back. I've been in contact with the vice president of New Quest. He's came out to Alvin to spot. So has Fidelis. I met with Fidelis at Houston Oaks. And like I said, Joe Pawlowski with Industrial. I think that's going to be a big one for us too in Alvin.
Kathleen?
I think probably one of the biggest fears that this city has, the citizens, especially the older citizens who watch this town grow from a pretty small little burg into what it is today, are terrified that we're going to lose that small town look and activity and involvement of the citizens with each other. We've got to make sure that anything that we do is clearly thought out and discussed and decided. And the way that we do that is communication. And the only way that we're going to be able to do that is to work with each other. And and I think too, to be able to reach our vision is to, boy, Paul is really getting kudos tonight, but to get Paul to bring in some of those big businesses and put them in the right place, not in the middle of downtown, but to give people an opportunity to get better paying jobs and improve the community that way, rather than sticking something in the middle of downtown that we don't want there.
Scott? Yes. What is your vision for Alvin's future growth, and how would you prepare the city to effectively handle the challenges and opportunities associated with that growth?
Door knocking so many homes over the last few months, the concerns are very, very similar between residents, even if they're in different districts. My vision for the future is a city council that all actually show up, because we have an attendance problem with a handful, only a handful. I do think some are outstanding, but we have an attendance problem with some just not serving in the role they were elected to. I think if everyone just showed up and listened, some of our amazing department heads could actually be heard and action could be taken. I have visited with department heads and individuals that are frustrated when they put on workshops and only half the council comes. And that's just unacceptable. It's abandoning your post, and it's just unacceptable. But as I've stated before, downtown revitalization to preserve our charm while taking care of the infrastructure that gets you there. And you do that in that downtown corridor. Expand the downtown revitalization program, protect our past, and allow our city to grow in a way that is stable, that our infrastructure can keep up with.
Ashley?
Thank you. Scott, I think you're peeking at my notes, okay? So when I moved here 10 years ago, I moved here because I drove through the downtown corridor. I looked at it and I was like, it's like Hallmark. It was beautiful. I loved it. But I remembered there was no Starbucks, there was no Chick-fil-A, there was nothing like that. So the city has been growing. We need to look at how the city is currently growing right now. A lot of that is off of 35 and Highway 6. But we need to protect the character, we need to protect the charm of our current downtown, and we need to expand that grant as well, which we have. The area has been expanded, but we need to preserve as much green space as possible. I know we're gonna have growth, but the citizens like the green space. They like the parks that we have. So we need to focus on that as well. We don't wanna leave anyone behind. Invest in that infrastructure, because as we know, 99 is coming. They've been telling us since I moved here. And we want to make sure that we're not reacting. We want to be proactive and anticipate, collaborate, and have that long-term picture in mind.
All right, thank you very much. We are going to start the closing remarks now. You each have 2 minutes for your closing remarks. And just because the way it fell, Kathleen, you get to be first again.
Again, I want to thank everybody for coming. This is the way we get the word out through you to other people. So I really appreciate that, and I certainly appreciate the time and effort that the chamber has put out to be able to put this together. It wasn't just sticking up a table and handing you a microphone. There was a lot of work involved, and I really appreciate that. I think in all of our discussion tonight, or this afternoon, maybe we forgot about one branch that could really be an asset to this city, and that is the college. And that is because when you bring big industry in here and they need trained workers, then what better place than right here in town to train a welder or a pipe fitter? Because we're already doing that for some of the plants. Why not encourage those big companies to come in and let them train their people at the college, provide good quality jobs for them, and increase the revenue all the way across this city? And of course that means increasing taxes from those businesses, which only makes better life for everybody else in town. We have a real opportunity here to do things, to work together. And we seem to think, oh, I've got to solve it myself, that I'm the only one that's got the answer for this, and it's not the case. We have different ideas. That doesn't make us enemies or wrong. We now know that council members need to get out and get involved in their community, come up with ideas that make changes. I've brought up some of the things that came across in front of me while I was on city council the last time, and we fulfilled those things. One of them being the new animal shelter, because it was that or the county would come in and pick up all the animals, sure they would, and then charge the city by the animal, by the day. Certainly, you don't want your tax money spent that way. We've got to make sure that we're fiscally responsible and that we do things the right way. Thank you.
Scott?
Thank you guys all for listening. My time as a firefighter has taught me a lot of lessons, and the biggest lesson I say is what I call the lesson of thought. I thought I knew what hard work was until I became a firefighter. I thought I knew what the homeless crisis was until I was putting out the fires that were created there. I thought I knew what addiction and crisis and tragedy look like in our community until I was the one picking up the victims. I have a wide skill base, from being a small business owner just to being a lifelong resident. None of the residents here in Alvin have to wonder if I will show up, because I've been showing up for nearly 20 years supporting our community. I will continue to do that regardless of the role. I agree with Kathleen, we are not enemies, we are neighbors. And it's important that anyone elected to these positions fulfills them, respects them, and shows up for that position. Know what it means to work as a team and to contribute and to what is expected of me. My name is Scott Salter. I'm running for Alvin City Council at large position 2.
Ashley?
All right. Well, thank you again for the opportunity to, speak here. Thank you, Heights Baptist. Thank you, Northern Brazoria County Chamber of Commerce. I appreciate you guys. Thank you to all the candidates here too. I appreciate, having this. This is amazing dialogue. I care deeply about this community. It's my home. It's been my home since 2014. Alvin deserves a thoughtful, engaged leader that puts the people first. They put the people first. Okay, so we have to focus on those real issues: smart growth, balanced growth, infrastructure, public safety, and open communication and transparency. I am here to serve. So I'm going to tell you a story. I had a friend, and this person lives in District D. She called me and she said, "Hey, there is a dog on 1462 right now, and it's about to run across traffic. Are you at home?" And I said, "Yes, I'm coming." I threw on some shoes. I didn't even think about it, because if they're on 1462, they're probably in a grassy area. I threw on, sandals. And I got a text message from someone that's like, "Hey, are you in the ditch on 1462? Yes, I am. I brought treats and a leash, and I'm trying to, throw treats to this dog so it will come closer." And I called Alvin Animal Adoption Center, Autumn Miller, and I said, "Hey, I know it's after hours, but it's on 1462. It's about to run across the road, and I just don't want it to get hit." They did end up coming out there after hours and putting a trap out because they couldn't get out there. So in closing, I'm here to serve. I've been putting in the work. I'm ready to continue to put in the work on City Council, and I would be honored to earn your vote on April 22nd if you're an early voter, or Election Day is May 3rd. Let's build a stronger Alvin together. Thank you.
Seth?
Guys, it really is important, folks, that this is a time where people with ideas, like I keep saying, and people that want the Alvin and the growth that's coming to happen the way they want it, but we got to be realistic. If you don't have these relationships and you don't have connections to get these things done, like I told you earlier, Mayor Gabe called me after talking to the dean, president of ACC, because they're needing my help and connections to get this street and cutout for TxDOT. Alfred Froberg in the back, Tyler Froberg, called me because they said the concrete medians that are going up down Highway 6, we're familiar between Chick-fil-A and Home Depot, that's irritating, is going up down Highway 6, and it's going to go right in front of Froberg's. And it's going to be a hazard issue because they're going to have to go all the way to Knights of Columbus and turn around. And someone's going to get hurt, someone's going to get killed. So I talked to Tyler, said, let me talk to the chairman of TxDOT, though it's not protocol here in Brazoria County, they're going to deny you. One, because you're not a big sector like Home Depot. And two, it's because he's private, but he deserves it. So I had, in 4 days, Andrew Alvis down here, and he got a hold of the engineering department, and they took care of the situation. Because of my relationship, I was able to at least get him that cutout. They now put it back on his court and said that he would have to pay for it. But with sales tax revenue and the businesses that I know I can bring in and the industrial growth that I can bring in, we could possibly help Mr. Froberg. He does great for the citizens of Alvin. And I like to see everyone, guys, just look around up and down Gordon Street. Old-time businesses, new businesses, La Costa, Bada Bing, Tomaso's, Juanita's, just up and down, guys. They believe in me and support me and know that I can do this. We need to grow Alvin right. I have the relationships to bring in these sales tax for us to actually have some money. You know, don't just pick up the phone or people come to vote. Hey, you know, vote for somebody. You know, call this person. Don't listen to anybody. I hope you guys really came with an open mind today. And if you haven't got to meet me or hear me, I hope today was an eye-opening experience and know that what I can do is serious. And there's just two ways to vote. It's
Thank you,
either gonna
Seth.
vote for someone who has ideas or vote for someone who has solutions. Thank you. Thank you, Chamber. Thank you, Hyde Baptist. And thank y'all for coming so much.
Thank all of y'all for being here.